Live from the News Center, this is 7 on your side at 6.
With that, I am proud to say that the bill has been signed.
After a push from Governor Haley and weeks of debate and protest, tonight the Confederate flag is scheduled to be removed from the State House grounds. The move comes more than 50 years after the Confederate flag was raised in protest of the Civil Rights Movement.
Tonight we have team coverage out of Columbia for you. Our Capitol reporter Robert Kittle and 7 on your side's Mike Manzoni are standing by.
First, we begin with reporter Gordon Dill. He's outside the State House near the flag, which now flies on a short timeline. Gordon.
You got that right. That flag's coming down at 10 o'clock in the morning as a result of the bill signing today. Speaking of short, it was a short process to bring this down over the past week. The Senate didn't take it up and start debating until the beginning of this week. The House picked it up yesterday, and then today at 4 o'clock, the governor signed the bill that will bring this flag down starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow. In fact, they've already started to barricade off this area to make it off limits to folks so there's no problems before 10 o'clock tomorrow when the official flag comes down for the very last time, at least for the last time in foreseeable future. That signing, again, today about 4 o'clock, the governor with several ceremonial pens, joined there by 9 family members, victims' family members from the shooting in Charleston, each of them taking one of those ceremonial pens. The governor talking extensively about that shooting in Charleston being her motivation that has made this flag come down after decades and decades of debate and discussion and after 15 years of it being here on the State House grounds. I tell you what, come back out here because there have been a ton of people out here over the past few days, both for and against the flag, and I'm lucky to be joined by a couple of them. With me here, this is Brighton. He is from the Gaston area, and this is Catherine, who's from right here in Columbia, and I bet you can tell what their opposing sides are. And like a lot of the people here, they've disagreed, I'd say very passionately, but have been relatively peaceful and able to get along with one another. Let's start with you, Brighton. What is this flag? You've held it out here since, what, 2 o'clock in the hot sun today. What does it mean to you, and how do you feel about it coming down?
I believe it's a heritage, not hate type thing. I'm a little bit indifferent on it coming down. I believe that if it does come down, which it is coming down, I believe it should be for the right reasons. As of right now, from what I believe in, I don't see the reason for it to come down.
Okay, in this case, it is because of the 9 people who were killed in Charleston. Do you see a connection there?
I see a connection to it, yes, but the totally wrong connection to it. Like, I do not stand for that side of the flag. I do not stand in any way, shape, or form anything racial that has to do with this flag.
The flag just means a lot to you.
It means a lot to me and hundreds and thousands of others that had the same point of view. It's just we're so small numbers nowadays that it's hard for us to get out.
Brighton, I appreciate it. And Catherine, you've had this sign out here just like Brighton all day in this sun. So tell me, I'll ask you the same question I asked him. What's the flag mean to you, and how do you feel about it coming down?
Well, that the flag, it represents a time that wasn't so great for, people that look like me. I have family members too, and they tell me stories, and frankly, it's a little scary to see it up there. And I'm glad that is coming down. It's time. It's time for us to move on, brighter days are on the way. And I'm just so happy to be here and witness it.
And can I ask you, you just heard what Brighton said about what the flag means to him. Does that have, when you hear that, do you understand what people are saying when they talk about the flag that way?
They have family members that died. They have family members that gave their lives for a cause. And, maybe the cause worked for them, but it doesn't work for me. My family members died too. So I think it would be better if it came down.
All right. Catherine, thank you so much for your time. Brighton, thank you too. I appreciate both of you joining us. There's been so much reaction and so much passion about this. In fact, some of that passion coming from inside the chambers overnight. Listen to this sound you're going to hear that's been all over the country since it happened. This is from a state representative named Jenny Horn.
You would have asked me last year if we would ever remove the flag from the State House grounds in my lifetime. I would have said there's no way. And it's bittersweet because it took a tragedy to bring this body to this decision.
Of course, the tragedy we're talking about, the deadly racially motivated shooting just 22 days ago. With all the mourning, it does seem like longer than that. That was in Charleston, the historically black Emmanuel AME Church. A Bible study ended in a massacre that killed 9 people, including a state senator who for many years was in this state house, Clemente Pinckney. The admitted gunman and self-proclaimed white supremacist, leaving 3 others injured. The apparent reasoning, according to reports from him and an online manifesto, hatred and racism. It is the turning point, there is no doubt about it, in this Confederate flag protest and in the Confederate flag action that today came to a head as Governor Haley at 4 o'clock signed that bill, guys, that is going to bring this flag down at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We'll be here. We expect to see quite a scene, and we hope you'll join us because it will be a very historic day. Tom and Amy?
All right, Gordon Dill, our witness to history tonight. After the vote, the NAACP released a statement calling this a monumental victory. That organization has been boycotting the state of South Carolina now for 15 years over the flag.
The president of the group said they would consider lifting the economic boycott during the group's annual convention, which happens to be this weekend. Our Robert Kittle is joining us now live with the economic impact of bringing down the flag. Robert.
No one can say exactly how much the NAACP boycott of the state has cost the state, because we don't know which family reunions or corporate conventions went somewhere else. But business leaders say there's no question that flying the flag has hurt the state's economy, and taking it down will help it. The NAACP has been boycotting the state for more than 15 years, asking businesses not to come here and asking families to vacation somewhere else because of the flag. And the NCAA has refused to hold predetermined tournaments in the state since 2001. State Chamber of Commerce President Ted Pitts says there's no way to estimate how much money the state has lost, but the flag has hurt business.
South Carolina needs to recruit the top workforce, the talent from around the country, and I think having that flag on the State House grounds would have affected decisions. And actually, I've had people tell me in the recruiting industry that it has affected some decisions as people look to move their families to South Carolina.
The USC women's basketball team was allowed to host the first 2 rounds of the NCAA basketball tournament last March because that was based on merit and was not a predetermined site. The Columbia Regional Sports Authority said people buying tickets, staying in hotels, and visiting other attractions brought in about $1.3 million. At the time, local businesses saw the difference.
Just because of the fact that there are 4 teams here, 3 others aside from Carolina. And the fans here follow them.
Representative Jenny Horn said from the floor of the House last night that the state had lost an economic development prospect because of the flag. I checked with the State Department of Commerce, and they said they have not been checking and tracking over the years how many prospects we may have lost. Live in Columbia, Robert Kittle, 7 on your side.
All right, Robert, thank you for that. The NCAA reacted promptly to today's new law by announcing it'll change a policy that has denied South Carolina major events for a decade and a half. Sports Director P. Annity will have more of that coming up tonight.
Now that the flag is coming down, some people are asking whether a monument at the State House should also come down.
It all goes back to something that happened 15 years ago. 7 on your sides. Mike Manzoni is up next with our team coverage to explain. Mike.
Yeah, lawmakers voted to take that Confederate flag off the top of the State House here and put it out on the front grounds back in 2000. Now, that was all part of a compromise that also put up a monument on the side of the State House here. Now, some people are saying because the Confederate flag's coming down, that monument should come down too. As you might imagine, though, opinions are mixed on this one. The flag will come down tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. 15 years after the state took it off the top of the State House and put it in front of the Confederate monument. It was all part of a compromise that put up the African American History Monument that is on the left side of the State House. Now, some people say since that's coming down, that monument should come down too, but not everyone feels the same way.
No, I'd have to think about that as well.
No, it shouldn't come down. If it's about history, this is the grounds of the people, so it should be about history.
No lawmaker has introduced a bill to take down the African American History Monument. We'll, of course, continue to follow this, keep you updated if any of that changes. For now, we're live at the State House in Columbia. Mike Manzoni, 7 on your side.
All right, Mike Manzoni, thank you. The African American History Monument went up in 2001, the year after the compromise to remove the Confederate flag from the State House dome.
As we approach the weekend, we may see increased chances for rain. Let's get right over to 24/7 Chief Meteorologist Christy Henderson.
That's right, Amy, and we could use some rain to cool these temperatures off, but there's no rain around. North and South Carolina both dry. 94 degrees in Greenville, 93 in Anderson, 90 in Asheville. Asheville missed a record high by just 1 degree, getting up to 92 this afternoon. Well, with no rain around, it's going to be a very slow cool down through the evening hours. Quiet weather will continue for us. Still quite a bit of daylight left. Looks like mid-80s by 9 p.m. Now, chances for rain will be on the increase. I'll talk more about the best chance of rain for us in your 5-zone forecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Christy, thank you. Next on 7 on your side at 6, the officer-involved shooting death of her unarmed son broke national headlines. Now, nearly 4 months later, a Charleston mother is visiting the very spot where her son took his final breath.
And later tonight, the EPA updates neighbors about a toxic landfill fire, why the worst may be over.